Hello and welcome back to my reading of my book, The Rebel. This is Chapter 2, The Pilgrimage. Introduction. Hello and welcome back. I'm glad to see you're still with us. Shall we continue? We've just waded through the intense interrogation of the apocalypse. Pushed through the pain of facing your worst fears. So now it's time to step out. To enter into this new world we've created. It's time to take that leap of faith into the darkness. Time to enter the pilgrimage. In other words, the pilgrimage is the shift from merely making nods toward your privilege and putting that into action. Thus, further exposing yourself to this revelation. It is you saying, no, not today. Today I won't assume my privilege. Today I'll take a step back for a more real, because everything's shifted. Everything you see has a new tinge to it. It's like you have a new set of eyes. Everything is new. The pilgrimage is a bit like that. It's an embrace of this newness, this mystery. It's a letting go of the familiar, the comfortable, the known. Where the apocalypse was the nudge, or the awakening, the pilgrimage is a further engagement with this awakening. It's getting up and walking out. Next up, the prodigal son. Looking back at the previously mentioned parable, we now see the boy engaging with his own pilgrimage by stepping out of his comfort zone. We see him entering into a life outside the comforts of home. Then, as his money dissipates, we see his friendships also begin to dwindle. This may well have been due to the fact that they had not yet realized their own states of privilege. Perhaps they themselves have not yet been able to acknowledge that their ways of life are feeding off of the discomfort of so many others. Perhaps this is why they so flippantly push him aside as the end of fun is seen. And what does he do? He goes and finds a job. He stoops even further by engaging still deeper into his pilgrimage. First, he leaves the comforts of home, then he lowers himself further into the position of a slave, even slaving at the feet of the despicable swine. Jesus' wilderness journey. A second example of this experience, is found in the story of Jesus. He feels a call into the wilderness, an invitation from within to go out into the wild, to come face to face with the wild things. He exposes himself to the voices whispering within, to the temptations from the deep. First, the desire to find fulfillment in power. It's the longing to believe that if you had all the keys, everything would be great. Next, he has the superstitious temptation that perhaps he could force God's hand. That God is interested in magical power. That there true life is found. And thirdly, he faces the temptation to find fulfillment in food, in fun, in frivolity. It's the temptation to believe that happiness brings fulfillment. It's a drawing towards participation in the pursuit of happiness. But to all these voices he responds, no, not today. Outro. It's time to grow up. Eventually, we must all grow up. We must leave the nest and pummel to our deaths. So learn to enjoy the sense of falling, we must. Breathe it in. We must even learn to shriek with laughter, while at the same time experiencing the growing awareness of our impending death. This is the pilgrimage. We must all refuse our mother's wishes and play with fire. In fact, imagine, what if these cautions are in fact invitations, inviting us to open our wings and feel the wind's tugs? Imagine it's a call to let go and flip into space, to dig deep into the dirt. So, strengthen your legs and prepare to die.